deafening sound of silence. The deafening sound of silence, Larry Castleberry.
I recently came across a literary work by C.S. Lewis, and it was entitled The Screwtape Letters. Now, you are not familiar with the Screwtape Letters. They're about two demons, and their task is this: to win the soul of a certain individual. Now, the younger demon is named Woodworm, and he comes up with all these great ideas of how he's going to win this soul. But the older demon, Screwtape, says, no. We're going to use the old, tried, and true. We're going to create so much noise that he can no longer hear the voice of God. Now, when I read this, I said, that's interesting. But what is noise? And when you look up noise in the dictionary, it is defined as any sound that prevents the listener from hearing what they want to hear. Now, if you expand upon this definition, noise is anything that keeps us from those things that are important to us. You think about it. How often do we spend our day going through emails? Or we're attached to our cell phone. We're at dinner with family and loved ones, and we'd rather spend our time looking at our cell phone. It is distracting us, taking us away from that what is important to us. And when you think more about noise, you realize that noise involves our ego. It has us looking at the world the way that we think it should be, and not the way that it is. And so, how does one combat noise? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, we combat the power of noise by learning to embrace the deafening sound of silence. You see, when we learn to be silent, we step back. We take off our glasses of illusion, and we stop seeing the world as we want it to be, but as it is. And when we can see the world as it is, we make better decisions. We react appropriately in a manner that help us to solve problems and help us to be the individuals that we want to be. So how do we learn to embrace the deafening sound of silence? 3 steps. First, take time out of our busy schedule to be quiet. Whether it's at home or someplace for some of us, maybe your office, or where you simply turn off the TV, turn off all that external noise, where you're able to step back and just be quiet, reflect, think. Allow yourself to see the world as it truly is. I didn't say do this at the end of the day, at night, when you're laying down in your bed, right before you go to sleep, because you're going to fall asleep. That moment, any place where you can just simply step back and take time to be quiet. The second step is this: learn to listen effectively. Now, recently, my wife purchased a building, and she was so excited until she looked into the building. And that building needs a lot of work. And my brother-in-law is also going through some medical issues right now. And when my wife is yelling and fussing at me, my natural reaction is to want to say, "What are you yelling about?" And I want to react. But if I practice actively listening, step back, and I actually hear what she's saying, I'm afraid. I'm in pain. I'm not sure I made the right decision. And by actively listening, then I can help her. I can do those things that she needs to be the supportive husband that I should be. The third step is this. I don't know about all of you, but my number one creator of noise is my overactive imagination. Learn to control your thoughts. This past Sunday was Easter Sunday. Father Robinson was given a homily. He was speaking about important matters that are good for my spiritual well-being. And somewhere along that homily, I started thinking about, that movie, The Fast and Furious, that's going to be really good. Because that's where the kids and I were going to go after church later on that day. Thinking about that movie was noise. Because it was keeping me from paying attention to what Father Robinson was saying. So we know that noise is out there. Noise prevents us, distracts us from those things that are important to us. Noise has us seeing the world as we think it should be, as opposed to us looking at the world as it is. And how do we combat noise? We learn to embrace the deafening sound of silence. And we learn to do this by, first, each day taking the time to find that quiet place and practice being quiet. By actively listening. And third, by stepping back, taking the time and embracing quietness. So I ask each one of you, embrace silence. Practice the deafening sound of silence and learn to see the world as it is. Madam Toastmaster.